Hey everyone, let's talk about error handling in Python. So an exception is an event that disrupts the normal flow of a program's instruction. And these are some of the examples of common built-in exceptions. For example, zero division error. It is raised when you try to divide by zero, and then we have name error. This is raised when a local or global name is not found, and then we have type error, which is raised when an operator or function is applied to an object of an inappropriate type. So there are different kind of built-in exceptions. So let's just go ahead and check out few of them, and we'll also see how we can handle them. Let's take an input from the user first. We'll ask user to enter a number. Let's take another variable to store the result, and I will divide 10 by this number. And let's go ahead and print the result. Let's go ahead and run this. So here, if I enter a normal number, it works fine. But let's say if I enter something as 0, or let's say if I enter a string. So if I enter 0, we get this error, division, zero division error, division by 0. And let's say if I enter a string, let's say I enter hello, then we get the value error. Now let's see how we can handle them. And in Python, we handle the exception using try, except, and finally block. So your piece of code that can raise an exception, you need to keep that in the try block. So let's just move this code in try block, and then you need to mention your exception in the except block. So I will write except, and let's include 0 by division, zero division error. And here we'll give a message that you cannot divide by 0. Let's also give the other one. So you can include multiple except blocks. So we will include the value error as well. Let's print another message that the number was not valid. We'll say please enter a valid number. Let's save and run this now. If I enter a 0, so it's not blocking the execution of the program. And similarly, if I enter a string, so this is going to give the message that we have handled in the except block. And we can also include a finally block. So finally block is something that will run no matter what. So even if there is an error, finally block is gonna run. So here if I include finally block, and let's just give a message, and I'll say always execute. And if I run this now, let's enter a number. So let's say even if I give a valid number, right? So let's say if I give 2, so we got the result, and also the finally block executed. And similarly, even if I give 0, the finally block got executed. So finally block is always going to get executed. So this is great for cleanup tasks, like let's say if you are closing files or logging out a user, so you can include such kind of activities in the finally block, as it can run with both valid and invalid input. And let's say if you want to catch all the exception, you can add another except block, and you can just define exception. But this is not one of the best practices, because the user will never get to know about the exact error. So it is always better to include the specific error and the respective message. So here, let's say if I type in something like this, something went wrong. So this is one of the most common messages that you would have seen in a lot of places. So right now, let's say when I run this code, if I enter a number, let's say if I entered 0, we got this message, right? You can't divide by 0. But if I remove this division 0, we don't have this except block. So now when I enter 0 in the input, it doesn't match with the value error. So it is going to go to the exception, because exception is going to catch all the exceptions, right? So let's go ahead and execute this. So now if I enter 0, I will not see the message that I had given before, right? Because I removed that block, but the exception is going to catch that. So if I enter, see, we got this message, right? Something went wrong. So if your code has the possibility of raising a lot of exceptions and you cannot cover all of them, you can always add this at the end. And let's say if you only want to print the result after you have checked if there is an error or not. So in that case, you can also include an else statement. So let me just go ahead and do that. I'll remove this for now. I don't want to print the result without checking the error. So I will remove this print line from here, and here I will simply include an else block, and here we'll print the result. So now let's just go ahead and run this. If I enter a valid number, it is going to get executed. All right, so that was it. And let's quickly recap what we learned. So in the try block, you are always going to keep your risky code that can raise exceptions. And in the except block, you can handle specific errors like division by 0 or invalid input, or you can catch all the exceptions. And in your else block, you are going to run only when no error occurs. And finally is great for cleanup, so you can keep any piece of code that you always want to run. So these tools let you control how your code behaves even when something goes wrong. So that's it for this tutorial, and I'll see you in the next one.